All right, what's up, guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out some theory crafting, some ideas. Going to be doing some brainstorming and kind of see what we can do with exactly what it says on the screen here. See how we can stretch the boundaries of what a vanilla can be. So go ahead and buckle up here. This video is for everybody, and I want to know what you guys have to say about this, what you guys think about this. Because I think Bandai is not exploring something yet. They want to make sure they don't break the game, obviously, but there's something I think they need to really consider that could, I think it could take the game to the next level. So let's go ahead and dive straight into this video, guys. I don't want to leave you guys waiting. It'll probably be kind of a shorter video today. I'm just going to get straight into the point and just dive straight in. So first off, for those who are not aware what a vanilla character is, it means there is no effect on the card. That's it. You see this card on the front here? It has no effect. It is a vanilla character or generic character. That there's a few terms for it, but I just call it vanilla. So as you see on the screen here, a very common trend, if a card costs 1, it will have 3,000 power for a vanilla. Again, this is for a vanilla body with no effect. If it costs 2, it's 4, then it keeps going down. 5, 6, 7, all the way up to 12. A 10 cost can have 12,000 power, and they will always have 1,000 points in counter, as you can see on here. Now, I have talked about this topic in the past. In fact, it was one of my first ever videos where I explain the formula and all this good stuff, and you can see down here at the bottom left, that's how long ago it's been since I covered this. You can't click on this, by the way, I just have it down here, but it says Theory Crafting, perceived value to cost ratio, One Piece TCG. It only has 60 views, and it's from 8 months ago. That's how long ago this was. Crazy. But anyway, this slide that you're seeing right now is from that slideshow. And one more thing that I got to mention is there is a new website coming out soon, which I can't give any details on yet, for One Piece. It's a new website coming out for One Piece. And I wrote an article for that website. So, and it tackles this idea of the vanilla values and the cost and the ratio and all that good stuff. And I will give more news on that as I get more information on it, but I can't give any actual details just yet. Can't wait for that. But yeah, as you see on the screen, I have talked about this before, and this is a slide from that slideshow. Now, there's this concept of Vanilla Plus, and we need to talk about this for a second. And again, this is if you want to know more about this, you can watch the video if you want to. I'll probably end up redoing the video at some point, like, revamping it and making it more up to date. But as you can see here, Zoro, let's start in the top left. We're not going to go through all these, but just notice in the top left, he's a 3-cost 5,000 power character with Rush. So you see what happened, right? They got rid of the counter on the left, excuse me. They got rid of the counter on the left. They took off the defense from the character and made it straight offensive with Rush. Okay, now I'm not going to go through every single one of these cards, but they all have a special effect. But notice this, they're all vanilla statted with 3 costs 5,000 here, 5 costs 7,000 here. They have exactly generic stats. And one thing you need to understand about these real quick, guys, this stat line, like whatever it is, right, whatever the cost is, you multiply it by 1,000 and then add 2,000. That is the power of it. So for 4, if you're dealing with a 4-cost character, multiply it by 1,000, add 2,000, you get 6,000. And then they always have the 1K counter. That is the standard by which the game is designed, for those who are not aware. So in other words, you see how these cards are balanced based off of this, at least currently. We'll see what happens in the future. Power creep is a real thing. We'll see where things go from there. But it is good to understand that that's how cards are designed. For example, in this case, you've got, we saw Zoro. Let's use Smoker here. Smoker is a 5-cost 7K. Well, he doesn't have a 1K counter. Well, they determined that, well, in order to, make up for that, we'll give him the chance to have double attack, potentially. And then I would say Zoro is an extremely, not Zoro, excuse me, guys, Smoker. My apologies. I'm talking about Smoker here in the front. Smoker is a 5-cost 7K. He cannot be KO'd by effects, and he can potentially have double attack. So you see how they got rid of that 1,000 counter and gave him like 2 conditional effects, because he could still be bottom decked, so he's not safe from being bottom decked. But he also doesn't have double attack. He has to get to have double attack. And I'm not going to go into all the details. Just understand that's how the game is balanced. And power creep does come in every now and then, of course, like we know. The same standard applies to their blocker values. Look at this, 1-cost 1K blockers. They don't deserve a counter, according to Bandai. And again, if you want to know more about this, I go into well, not super detail, but I go into more detail in that video I was referencing earlier. But notice all the 1-cost blockers. They're all the exact same. Look at all the 2-cost blockers over here with 1K counters. That is a standard by which they measure blockers at that cost. And the one on the right is one of the earliest blockers, and it's an anomaly because it has an extra 1,000 power. This card is overstated, and it looks like they didn't really realize that because it was so early on. They didn't come out with, they weren't sure what to do, and I guess apparently they determined this was too powerful for a 2-cost blocker, so they started doing the 2-cost 2K blockers. Really interesting stuff there. Searchers, same idea. I'm not going to go through every one of these. You get the idea. 1-cost searchers, they're all the exact same, and then they have a theme for whatever their color or type is, of course. 2-cost searchers, same idea. Okay, there are some anomalies. Again, like look at Bonnie down here. That's just totally different. Okay, counters, same thing. Now, getting back into this, getting back into the standard vanilla curve, what I'm suggesting is that why can't we have vanillas that are no counters on them? Like, in other words, a hyper-aggressive aggro version of a vanilla. So, basically, like this. Like what you see on the screen here. Like what was on the title screen. Why can't we have a 4-cost 7K? Now, hang on. I'm not saying that it should have Thriller Bark Pirates type like this one does. Or even Blue, Dofi, 7 Warlords of the Sea type. Okay? I'm not saying that. I'm saying they should balance it. And maybe the way they can balance it, who knows? Maybe they can come out with like another color, like a neutral color, or some kind of way where the card cannot be cheated into play. You see what I'm saying? Like, it can only be cast, like hard cast, or however you want to say that. You can only cast it for what its actual cost is. You can't cheat it into play or something. I don't know. It'd be something for them to balance. And I'm not saying that part will be easy, but I think it can be done. Because what I'm suggesting is, why can't I have a card, like in this case, 4-cost, instead of it being a 6,000 power card, why can't I give up the 1K counter for extra power? And by the way, another way to go with this is, why can't I give up power for a 2K counter? And we're starting to see that pop up nowadays, especially in OP07. I think it probably started as soon as like, OP06, where now we're starting to see 4-cost 5,000 power characters that have 2K counters and a relevant effect. So that's interesting. They're starting to move things around a little bit, and it's kind of exciting to see. It's a little bit of a power creep, but I think a card like this could help mitigate that. It can help fix that. A vanilla card that, instead of having a counter, has the extra counter power in his actual power. And for those who think like, oh, that would be busted, well, I'll tell you what, we already know where the game's going, right? We already see a 4-cost 7K here with Rush. Now, I understand there's a what do you call it? There's a stipulation, right? There is a restriction on being able to have 7K. But guys, it's when your opponent has 2 or less life. So it's not like it's a crazy restriction. And it's a 4-cost 5K rusher without any restriction. And it's probably 9 times out of 10, it's going to be used as a 4-cost 7K rusher. So I'm just saying, having a vanilla 4-cost 7K on the board, I don't see that as being that crazy. And again, and this is the last slide, guys. Today's going to be a short video, but I want to know what y'all think. This is perfect as is. I get that. Like, the standard vanilla curve is nice, but I think if they did some tasteful, a 3-cost 6K, for example, especially like a 6-cost 9K, that 9K, some of these numbers are very special. Like 5K, 7K, and 9K, those are actually very special, right? Because that gets, above the 2K counters, right? Where all of a sudden, if you hit for 7K, like a 4-cost 7K, like what we see on the screen, now all of a sudden, your opponent's 2K counters aren't as strong, unless they have some kind of buff to their leader, like if their leader's a 6K for the turn or a 7K for the turn. Which, speaking of that, seeing black yellow Luffy, seeing like all these red yellow Sabo, blue yellow Ace, Whitebeard, red purple decks that are running cards like Eustace Kid, the 7-cost that can plus 1,000, Edward Newgate that can plus 2,000 for the turn. I think having a vanilla that can start to compete with that, I don't think that'd be the worst idea. Again, I want to know what y'all say in the comment section below. And one more thing I want to say on it that I think would be really interesting and really cool is, think about if they had some blue or green cards like this. Like, let's just say they had a blue or green vanilla card like this that's like a 4-cost 7K. All of a sudden, and remember, it's a card with no base effect. So in blue-green Sanji, not Zoro and Sanji, not the new ST11 or ST12, not the new ST12 Zoro and Sanji. I'm talking about old school blue-green Sanji. It could have cards like that, and that could maybe help it out. Or maybe make that a theme of that deck. That would be kind of cool too. You know, I would just like to see something like that enter the game. Okay, I'm pretty much done ranting there. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Let's be nice, right? This is just an idea. It's just a theory. It's just my own opinion, what I think would be really cool. I think it'd be really fun. And yeah, let's keep it civil down there, guys. All right. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, guys, peace.